Hi, I'm Beth, creator of Dry It Can It. I'm not a professional, I'm a homemaker, but I like to share with you tips and tricks that I use for canning food, dehydrating food, and freeze-drying food, as well as some of my original recipes. Today I'm going to talk about canning green beans. It's super simple, it's super fast, and it's so easy I'm not even going to do a demonstration. I'm just going to talk about it. So to start with, beans, whether they're green beans, yellow beans, wax beans, purple beans, are low acid foods. So they should really be pressure canned for safety. That's the ideal way to do these. And there are two methods. There's what's called the hot pack method and the raw pack method. I always choose to do the raw pack method, and I'll explain why in a minute. But if you choose to do the hot pack method, it's super simple also. It's just a little bit more time consuming. What you're going to do is you're going to prepare your beans for either method. You're going to wash them, you're going to cut them into pieces if you're going to do that, and you're going to remove that stem end. Now, for the hot pack method, what you'll want to do is bring a pot of water to a boil. Once it's boiling, add your beans, and when the water comes to a boil again, you'll want to boil your beans for 5 minutes. Once the boiling of the beans is done for 5 minutes, you're going to remove the pan from the stove. You're going to take those hot beans and you're going to put them into your jars. Now you can use pint jars or you can use quart jars. You can use half pint jars if you want to. But you'll put those in there and then you're going to add hot water, like from a kettle, or the water that you just used even would be fine. You can add salt, that's optional, and I'll talk about that in a minute with the raw pack method because it's the same. You're going to clean the rim, you're going to put on your lid, you're going to put on your screw band, you're going to put them in your pressure canner, and if you're using pints or smaller, you want to pressure can them for 20 minutes. If you're using quarts, you want to pressure can those for 25 minutes. Let your pressure come down automatically, take them out, let them sit for 12 to 24 hours undisturbed, and that's the hot pack method. The method I like to use is the raw pack method because it's quicker, it's easier, and honestly, I don't see an advantage to doing that extra step of boiling the beans. So what you're going to want to do basically to do the raw pack method like I do, I have some green and yellow beans that I have here, and I always cut mine into bite-sized pieces. So you're simply going to take your beans, you're going to prep them the same way you did with the other set of beans. In other words, remove the stem end, wash them, keep them whole or cut them however you want to do that, and then just put them into the jar without cooking. Once that's done, you have the option of adding salt. Now that can be done for the hot pack method or the raw pack method. General guidance is to use 1 teaspoon if you're using a quart-sized jar, and a half a teaspoon if you're using a pint-sized jar. If you're using a half pint, you want to use probably a 1/4 teaspoon. I tend to use just a little bit under a half a teaspoon when I do my pints, just because that's what we prefer. But anyway, you're going to prep your beans, you're going to put them in the jar, and then you're going to add boiling water. So just heat your water up in a kettle, like a tea kettle or a pan, and then you're going to, after your beans are packed in here, you're going to put in the hot water, and you're going to fill the water to the 1-inch mark. Now in all of your jars, this lower lip, that pretty much is your 1-inch mark. You're going to fill that your jar with the water to that amount. You've already added your salt if you're going to. You want to remove your air bubbles with either one of the methods. So to do that, use the back end of a wooden spoon or a plastic knife. You can use a metal knife. It's kind of advised not to because you could end up scratching and weakening your jars. But remove the bubbles, the air bubbles, and if you need to, then add water again just to get up to that inch. Wipe off your lid, wipe off your rims, put on your lids, put on your screw band, and again, into your pressure canner. The timing is the same for either method. So it's going to be 20 minutes if you're using a pint or a half a pint jar, and 25 minutes if you're using a quart-sized jar. Why do I use the raw pack method? Because honestly, your beans are going to boil in here anyway, because with a pressure canner, that temperature is going to get up to that 240 degree mark. And when you take these out, these are bubbling. So I just don't see an advantage to using the heated method. But anyway, you're going to let your beans go ahead and cook in your pressure canner. You're going to let the pressure release naturally. You're going to remove your jars, let them sit for 12 to 24 hours. And that really is all there is to it. Super easy, super fast. It's green bean season, and there is nothing like home canned beans. They're just so much better, in my opinion, than frozen. Fresh is obviously always the best, but this is a great way to hang on to your beans. So if you like this video and you found this a good tip, thumbs up would be appreciated. Subscribe to my channel in the lower corner there if you're interested in learning more tips and tricks. And we'll see you next time. Happy canning.